In part 3, we're going to be kicking it off with bass guitar and moving on to some other instruments as well.
Full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger, it only holds you longer.
So, I'm kind of allowing the kick drum to lead, and I'm placing the kick drum below the bass. So, I am taking out some of the lows of the bass. It's counterintuitive, but it allows the compressor to work harder on that bass, make it just really kind of in your face. Not that I want to over-compress it in the mix, but really just lets it stay put. It controls a lot of that energy from the low end so that the compressor can really kind of chew on the mids. And I'm just kind of letting the kick have more of the low end than the bass, and letting this kind of sit somewhere in between the guitar and that kick drum. So I'm using the 8+4 here, trying to get some attack out of the bass. But I went to 20+12, and I don't know, it's just too jumpy. And so I wanted more of a soft knee to kind of ease into the compression. So I'll go ahead and bounce this, and I'll see you in a second.
There was wear on the crutches and shadow. Upperworn skin, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger.
Yeah, sometimes saturation is the best compression. So, no buttons in, a little boost and a cut, and attenuation on the high end just to make sure that fizz isn't too obvious in the mix. Let's bounce this down.
There was wear on the crutches and shadows. Many men have failed, but I.
So what I've done is I've kind of set this up to just cut off the loudest parts. It's at a scale where whole sections of a song are getting compressed, and then other whole sections of a song are not being touched. So the quiet parts aren't being touched, and then when it really comes in, there's actually a reduction, and it's kind of like a macro kind of scale here. So that's one approach. The other approach would be dig in deeper, and you're compressing kind of the soft stuff too, and then you're just really doing the loud stuff.
There was nothing but a drop of warm skin, full of my
Again, speed this up because it'll be a little slower.
ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger. It only holds you longer. Is empty, but I keep looking for you. There was nothing but a drop of warm skin.
So I don't think this is the right approach. I think it's making the the soft stuff too loud. So I think maybe this approach with the hard knee, mostly trading the loud stuff, is a better approach.
Full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger. It only holds you longer. Is empty, but I keep looking for you. Lonely for you, yeah, I'm lonely.
So I'm kind of experimenting where to place this guitar because I don't want to cover up the vocal. I checked and it was about 2K of where he's sitting. So I'm trying to avoid overlapping that vocal. I really probably should have done the vocal first to make sure that it actually works with everything else, but this is kind of non-conventional. I mean, usually I would just use as much stuff as possible and then bounce like maybe 1 or 2 times because it's a lengthy process. But I'm really trying to scout out what this piece of gear can do on various sources. So that's why we're using it so much and why we're doing it one at a time. So I really like this approach of the 20-to-1 with the hard knee, mostly treating the loud stuff and trying to untreat the soft stuff. The way that I set the compressor is during the soft passages, and I tried to just get the needle to stay at 0. Then here, I'm going to boost some 5K just to kind of give it some kind of growl, some kind of top end, and I don't know, just some kind of nice, just kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I'm trying to make it sit in the mix, okay? I don't think I need any low end. I was experimenting with maybe cutting instead of boosting the top, but I didn't really like that, so I think I'm going to go with the boost in the top, decently wide boost. As long as I don't go to 3K, I should be fine with the vocal. Okay, now some time for some vocal. I'll go ahead and zero everything out. Now I actually have a plugin on the vocal just to kind of keep it in the mix, make sure that we never lost perspective of the most important part, the vocal. But it's actually a Blue Stripe plugin, UAD, so I guess we can compare them. But this was just kind of a placeholder just to kind of get me going, and then actually find the settings that I really like and fine-tune the vocal sound.
There was nothing but a drop of warm skin, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger, only holds you longer. There was nothing but a drop of warm skin, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. There was nothing but a drop of warm skin, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger, only holds you longer. The room is empty, but I keep looking for you. Lonely for you, yeah, I'm lonely. I'm lonely for you, girl, I'm lonely. I'm lonely for you, yeah, I'm lonely. Lonely for you.
So you can hear the difference between the plugin and the hardware. Of course, this is a clone, but it's a very meticulously built clone. And I don't know, there's something about the physical hardware. I know this sounds cliche, but I don't know, to me it just is easier to get sounds a lot quicker. There's something about the three-dimensionality, there's something about the depth of it where it's almost like a video screen and like a 3D image. It starts at the video screen and goes back. But then you have movies where you start at the screen and then you have like a snake that jumps out at you, you know? And that's kind of the difference, is like the mix can only go from here back when using plugins. And I think with hardware, there's certain elements that really kind of come to life and come forward. So one of my favorite techniques for vocal is actually the 8+4. It slows down the attack, so you're able to get through that sibilance. It gets the impression that there's clarity to the vocal, but it's actually clamping down right after the sibilance and clamping down on the body of each syllable. So it sounds like it's getting compressed, but it's allowing that top end through. And if you dial this back, then all of a sudden you'll notice the top end kind of goes away. The fast release makes it kind of real sticky. I guess grippy is the better word for that.
It only makes you stronger, only holds you longer. The room is empty. There was nothing but a drop of warm skin, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger, only holds you longer. It's empty, but I keep looking
Okay, so not bad. I'm trying to thicken up his voice. He's got just about the most impossible voice to mix. There's really no tone to it, and if you add low end, it just sounds funny. Trying to cut at 5, but then boost above it at 8. So a little weird, but cutting and then boosting. And then boosting at 100. So here I'm, 8 to 4, 8 plus 4, kind of a fast release, and I sped up the attack just to kind of help dial it in just a little bit. Let's see what the plugin sounds like.
There was nothing but a drop of warm skin, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger, it only holds you longer. The room is empty, but I keep.
Yeah, not bad.
Drop of warm skin, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger, it only holds you longer.
I mean, to me, it's just so obvious. It's like the plugin is just kind of flatter, and this, it just seems more alive. I don't know why, but sounds good.
The room is empty, but I keep. There was nothing but a drop of warm skin, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger, it only holds you longer. Drop of warm skin, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger, it only holds you longer. The room is ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did. It only makes you stronger, it only holds you longer.
So you know it's better when you can make this softer and it still sounds bigger. That's a pretty sweet trick.
Empty, full of my ideals, my penance and my sin. You say we'll pay for the things that we did.
There's just something really nice about that, It's, I don't know, it just still's cutting through that mix, and it's, I don't know, there's something about it that just works better, and the plugin's just kind of flatter. I don't know why, but again, it's just easier to dial in the hardware. So yeah, that was pretty much top to bottom what this thing can do. This has a lot of different attitude, a lot of different class. You can really make it do about whatever. So, maybe you don't agree with my analysis today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think of this thing? In my 10 months of working with the 76A, I have really learned to kind of appreciate it and grow and develop an ear for what it's doing. And, I mean, it's really been a really strong player in the studio. It's pretty much my go-to compressor. We're doing vocal. Yeah, cool. Let's just run it through the 76A. We're doing some guitar. I'll have it going through the 76A. It's just kind of always on, So yeah, let me know your thoughts below in the comments. I'll be hanging out there.
Longer.